And welcome back to Backspace Academy. In this section on Elastic Compute Cloud, or EC2 for short, we're going to get into some pretty interesting stuff. We're going to be launching servers, and this is what it's all about, isn't it? The real nuts and bolts of AWS. So we're going to talk about launching and connecting to Linux servers. That could be Ubuntu, it could be Red Hat or CentOS, or it could be Amazon's own Linux. We'll also look at launching and connecting into Windows instances as well. So we're going to have a EC2 lecture. We'll talk at the high level around the EC2 service, and then we'll go into some hands-on sessions on launching and connecting into an EC2 Linux instance, and the same with an EC2 Windows instance, because they are a little bit different. So with EC2 Linux, we're going to use SSH and we're going to use PuTTY to connect into it. With Windows, we're going to use RDP to connect in, and we're going to have a nice GUI at the end of it. So then after you've done that, you should have a good sort of understanding of the EC2 service, and then we'll go into, again, a learning by quizzes session, which will be based upon the reference material. So make sure that you've got the EC2 manual, which will be in the reference section for the next lecture, and go through and make sure that you understand the answers to those questions and why those questions are correct, or those answers are correct. Now, one thing to remember, this is an introduction to EC2. Throughout this course, we're going to be building and building and building on this EC2 knowledge, okay? But we need to get you to walk before you can run, okay? So this will culminate in a 5-lecture lab that's going to have a well over 50-page lab notes with it. It's going to be a very complex lab on creating a highly available and fault-tolerant architecture using EC2 as a main core part of that. So don't worry if there's a lot missing from this section. We will be building on it as we go through the course, but it is no point trying to introduce you things that aren't just going to make sense. So there's no point talking about NAT instances, for example, if you don't understand all about subnetting and VPC. So let's get into it. Let's start launching some EC2 instances and have a bit of fun with AWS.